I want to express my support for Rex Tillerson to be our next Secretary of State. Mr. Tillerson is one of the most distinguished businessmen in the world. His reputation precedes him. I don't have to recount for all of you his remarkable career, rising from an entry-level production engineer to CEO of ExxonMobil, the largest oil company in the world. Mr. Tillerson's story should be an inspiration to kids across this country. Through hard work, discipline, and striving, you can achieve your dreams, even if you weren't born into wealth, power, or privilege. Like the Boy Scouts he has mentored, like the Eagle Scout he was, Mr. Tillerson inspires by his example. No one can doubt Mr. Tillerson has acquired a wide range of skills throughout his notable life, as well as a gold-plated reputation. And I think it goes without saying, a man of such varied experiences will bring a well-informed and shrewd perspective to the post. In fact, I'd suggest it's the very perspective which recommends him most for the job. I met with him in December, and we had a wide-ranging conversation about Russia, the Middle East, human rights, and the many other geopolitical challenges and opportunities facing our country. I was impressed by the breadth of his knowledge, his familiarity with so many world leaders, and his understanding of their peoples. But the one thing that really stood out to me was his clear-eyed, hard-nosed prudence. It's little wonder that Mr. Tillerson comes highly recommended by Dick Cheney and Bob Gates, seasoned statesmen with no illusions about the world and no doubts about America's role in it. I'm confident, as Secretary of State, he will protect the interests of the American people just as he protected the interests of ExxonMobil shareholders as their CEO. Now, I've heard some senators wonder whether a businessman can really walk away from a company and its financial interests, as if it were the money that made the man, instead of the man who made the money. Their concern reminds me of similar questions raised about one of the best secretaries of state in the modern era, George Shultz. When President Reagan nominated him, Secretary Shultz was a president and director of the Bechtel Group, a large construction concern with business across the Arab world. People asked whether Secretary Shultz would therefore tilt U.S. policy towards those countries. I think anyone looking back today on his record would marvel at those fears. In 2015, the World Jewish Congress awarded Secretary Shultz its prestigious Theodore Herzl Award on behalf of his work with America's good friend Israel. Yes, Secretary Shultz went on to lead a very successful tenure, working with different countries all over the world and always putting America's interests front and center. If anything, Rex Tillerson's business experience will only enhance his ability to provide the President his sound, unbiased judgment. If you need any more evidence, just look at the way Mr. Tillerson has conducted himself throughout the confirmation process. He's answered every question and addressed every concern. He's been calm and steady under pressure. These are precisely the qualities we need in our next Secretary of State. So today, I offer my strong support for an outstanding businessman and an American patriot, our next Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, and I encourage all of my colleagues to vote for the nomination. Mr. President, I yield the floor.